Before I take a look at any more PHP and variables, I actually want to take you through and let you know how far we've progressed. So far you think you've written HTML and you've written a little bit of PHP, but actually we have written our very first API. And actually the API is called handler.php. And that is known in API terms as the endpoint. And just to prove this, rather than talk to handler.php through web pages, I'm going to simulate talking to it through Python, which is what you would probably do if you got a Python project, or if you got an Android or an iOS project, something like that. Then you would want to contact the web page, the handler.php, from your device. So I'm going to show you how it's achieved using Python. So let's start up Python. Where are we? There we go, Python 2.7. Let's get the GUI going. I'm going to choose a new file, and this will work for just about anything really, any API you can have a look at. So I'm going to take you through the code. The first thing we need to do is to use a library which will enable us to talk to web pages, and that is called urllib. So if I import urllib, that means I've got all the libraries that will help me actually manage my call. The next thing I want to do is actually set up a variable or a string variable to hold the value for my site. Now that is just my site, it's here. So I'm going to copy that, and back in Python I'm going to paste that between two quote marks. There we go. So I've just taken exactly the same call that we made in the web page and applied it to Python in a variable. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually make the call to this handler.php. You know what that does, it prints out Frosty Snowman 20. I'm going to make the call, and I'm going to store the result, because you know it sends out a web page with information on it. It sends out this value, and we're going to capture that value in Python. I'm getting lost now with so many things open. I'm going to call it my data, and I'm going to set that to whatever is returned from here. But first of all, I need to use one of the functions in urllib. So I'm going to start off with urllib, and the function that I'm going to use is called urlopen. That just opens a web page. It's just a way of sending a request to a web page. I'm going to be using localhost, as you can see, but this would work with anything at all. You can pull back data from any web page that gives data using this method. So inside that, I'm going to choose my site as the website I want to open, and what I need to do is use another function called read, okay, which grabs whatever comes back and puts it in, or stores it in my data. Last thing I'm going to do is just a basic print my data, and there we go, we've got it. So if I choose file and save as, I can save it anywhere. Let's create a new folder in here, new folder, Python, and inside there I'm going to call this one, let me see, handler.py, so that it matches the name of the endpoint for the time being. And click save, and then I'm going to run it. So if I just do run module, you'll see that there we go, we have got back the data and printed out Frosty the Snowman. So we have talked to our own website on our own machine and made it return a value. We've read that value and we've printed that value out. That in essence is an API. Okay, so for Bigger APIs, you'll be using obviously more data types, different formats of data, and really that's what you need to learn. But we have already, with the very few pieces of code that we've done, managed to create an API that works.